President Trump is desperately looking for allies and people to cover his ass. And boy, have we got the guy for him. It's Mike Pence, his vice president. Now, I'll tell you why I think Pence is doing this in a second. But first, Trump tweeted very recently, "It's very sad that Republicans, even some that were carried over the line on my back, do very little to protect their president." Now, that's preposterous. The job of congressmen are not to protect the president, especially if they wound up colluding with Russia. That is not their job. But he's like, what, aren't I the mafia boss here? Your job is for these capos is to protect me, right? I'm like, hey, Mike, right, Mike? Oh, yeah, yes, boss. So he wrote a giant op-ed about it. Before we get to that, I want to show you who Mike Pence is.
You know, it's the greatest privilege of my life to serve as vice president to a president who cares so deeply about the integrity of America's elections and the right of each and every American.
Furthermore, Mike Pence was with Donald Trump last week when Trump would every once in a while turn to him and go, right, Mike? And he'd be, Here, no. Let's just take a look for ourselves. Here it is. So this is a J.R. Jackson special, and focusing in on Mike Pence as Donald Trump is talking. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's right, Mr. President. I'm right here next to you, big guy. Can I get an amen? Okay, we're gazing. Give me a couple more nods, though, Mike. I'm going to need more nods. And
I've been saying that, Mike. I think you'll agree for a long time.
We're back to Look, okay, that's right. Who was the Diamond and Lace or something? The two African American women who were supporting Trump. Okay, that's where Mike Pence is right now. So if you're wondering why he's doing it, so that when he becomes president, he could turn around and go, Trump voters, I had your guys back the whole time. Besides which, he's seeing Trump throw one person after another under a bus. Sessions, you didn't support me enough. Your job was to cover up my crimes. You're not doing that well enough. I'm thinking of getting rid of you. Meanwhile, Mike's looking around like, wait, hold up now. Hold up, right? So he writes this op-ed on Fox News, Interesting. He says, in the first 6 months of this administration, President Donald Trump has fought every day to deliver on his promises to the American people. At a historic pace, this president has taken bold action to restore prosperity, keep Americans safe and secure, and hold government accountable. Wait, is this the same president we're seeing on TV? And to tweet all sorts of nonsensical things. Oh, you didn't mention that part. Okay, I don't see how he did any of that, but look, by the way, he is his vice president, I get it. So he says President Trump has signed more than 40 bills and nearly 40 executive orders on everything from healthcare to energy, infrastructure, and more. But look, guys, normal vice presidents don't randomly come out and write op-eds about, do you know how great my president is? Like if they're trying to pass legislation and they want to help in that cause, sometimes Obama would send Biden to go talk to the senators because he used to be in the Senate. That's a very logical role for the vice president. Random fluffer on Fox News is not an appropriate role for the vice president, and out of nowhere. Why? Because Trump's like, the Russians think they're investigating me, somebody be my buddy. And Mike's like, well, this helps me in a couple of different ways. I'll be your buddy. And so the fluffing continues. As the father of a United States Marine, I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside a president who cares so deeply about the men and women of the armed forces of the United States of America. By the way, in putting together his plan for ISIS, he's like, and Afghanistan as well. He's like, I don't know, I just gave it to the generals. They're like, well, how about that mother of all bombs that we dropped in Afghanistan? Oh, did we? I don't know, I just let the generals do it. He cares so deeply about the troops. He's checking in all the time. More like he's watching Fox and Friends all the time. President Trump's accomplishments, Pence continues, are nothing short of historic. But as President likes to say, at this White House, that's just what we call a good start. What accomplishments? Wait, he didn't get healthcare passed. He didn't get anything passed yet. Look, I don't want him to get those things passed. So but that's great news for me. But he doesn't have any accomplishments so far. They're nothing short of historic. Come on, dude. I mean, are you at all capable of being embarrassed? Because this is one of the most embarrassing things I've read. I'm leaving out 90% of it. We're on issue by issue, and he's like, oh, what he's done for the children. right? And healthcare, the way he stripped it away from millions of Americans or wants to. Genius, right? Anyway, President Trump is firmly committed to passing the largest tax cuts since the days of President Reagan. We're going to cut taxes across the board for working families, small businesses, and family farms. Well, okay, there's the one thing that he's guaranteeing you. It's the same thing I was guaranteeing you. If there's one thing Trump's going to do is cut taxes for the rich, because the Republican Party wins from that, our donors win from that. So that was coming. Family farms. Small businesses. Later, he admits it's trillions of dollars in tax cuts for the corporations. And he ends, of course, as always, on, "It is the greatest privilege of my life to serve as vice president to a president who's fighting every single day to restore in America freedom, prosperity, and opportunity for all." Can I stay, Don? Can I please stay? Because I think you're about to leave soon. That would make me president. And Trump voters, if anyone had your guys back, it was me. We get it, Mike. We get it. Bring it down. If you like the Young Turks, you'll love Young Turks membership. TYTnetwork.com/join.